Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and welcome back to the Discover Airlines A320 for another Real Ops. Today we're going to do a triangular flight from Frankfurt to Evenes, then on to Kittilä and then back to Frankfurt. Of course split over 3 dedicated videos, which is the first on this channel. Now, before we start, a quick message from today's sponsor, Say Intentions AI. If you are looking for an ATC add-on and one that can not only do VFR but also things like your cabin crew, of course IFR, data link and more, then Say Intentions may just about be for you. So we are going to use it throughout today's flight, so be sure to check them out using the link in the video description below if you like what you're going to see today. And with that said, let's get right into our Airbus A320 and set ourselves up for today's flight. As mentioned, this is going to be 3 sectors, so on the first one we are going to start with the first officer as pilot flying, so we're going to sit on the FO seat. Now let's go ahead and do a little bit of basic work over here. We can import our SimBrief flight plan, and while we are doing that, let's do our preliminary cockpit preparation, which is engine master levers off, mode selector norm, weather radar is off, then the land gear lever is down, the wipers are off, the battery voltage is more than 25.5, and then we can power the aircraft up, so batteries on, external power on, and then we can head down into the RMPs. We can tune the delivery frequency 122035. Over here, and then ensure that the loudspeakers are set to a decent volume so that they don't completely bust our ears. Alright, that's set. Now, while we're waiting for the aircraft to finish its power-up procedure, let's head into our flight plan and have a look at today's flight. So, it's a fairly straight sector in the truest sense of the word. That's one of the things I just love flying in the Nordics. You just go straight and straight and straight. So the significant weather chart gives quite a bit of low-level icing here until flight level 240 and for the arrival once again, so anti-ice surely has to be operative today. However, there is no high-level stuff, so we're expecting a smooth flight. In terms of airport weather, Frankfurt is actually looking quite okay. And the same goes for our destination. Some light rain, temperatures 8 degrees, but overall flying conditions are okay. Our first alternate is Fjordes, which has good conditions, and then Kittilä, which is going to be our second sector, is good as well already. A couple of CVs in the forecast, but nothing significant throughout the day. So overall, looks like we are going to have a blast here. With that we can decide on the fuel quantity, and we can see that an on-time departure is going to result in an early arrival. Cost index 10 is good, flight level 360 is as well. We are not limited on any of our weights, and going down into the fuel section, I really don't see much reason to take extra, so let's just load up 9,000 kilos and then we are good to go with that. So mass and balance planned 9,000 like this, apply, and we will use GSX for boarding and refueling, and we will also use them for catering, of course, which is going to start in the very beginning. So with that done, let's go ahead and run the APU fire test. I don't intend to start the APU just yet because we don't really need it. It's cold enough outside that the cabin is not going to overheat. Apart from that, we do have external power. So ADIRS 1, 2 and 3 is going on, cockpit lights are set, EFB basic initialization is done. Let's go ahead and do our performance calculation though. Frankfurt 25 center, it's a dry runway, and yeah, it should remain that way. It's just cloudy but not rainy. Well, or am I actually mistaken here? They do say showers of rain in the weather report, so I'll tell you what, let's just turn to wet, because it doesn't hurt us, does it? So, intersection, we will calculate Lima 6, and that gives us a flaps 1 takeoff 63 degrees, speeds are looking good, performance limited weight is 80.5, which is good as well. Then let's quickly go into our... Let's quickly go over into our charts. So, Maroon to November. Oh, that's definitely not what we're gonna fly. Maroon 3 Whiskey will be our departure today. At least I'm fairly sure it will be. Okay, so we have an airport chart, and we can also grab the parking chart. Here we go, parking stands east. And then for the departure, let's search for hours. Maroon. No, not 2 November. Is there any 3 whiskey or something the likes? There probably is. Sometimes they are hidden very nicely. Actually, Südumfliegung. That's the word of the day. So that's what we are gonna do. Maroon 7 Mike, I guess. But in any case, we will just call ATC for clearance and see what they are going to give us anyway. So for the time being, that's it for our chart setup. Then let's do our aircraft acceptance. So recall for 3 seconds, and there's nothing in here. Aircraft is in a good shape. Configuration summary, 320 CFM, no automatic nav on go around, so we gotta press the button. No OEBs on this one, and with that our aircraft is good for service. So the oxygen quantities are looking good, hydraulic quantities are full, engine oil is full, flaps agree with the lever, speed brakes retracted. Let's test our alternate brakes over here, and that is looking good. Brakes set again, and well, then we can go right down into the ATSU. AOC menu, flight init, and data request. So while we're waiting for that to happen, let's go ahead and open one of those doors, shall we? One left, 2 left, because we will be boarding through both. Alright, flight initialization, Ocean 1310, Frankfurt to Evanes, out at Bode, 2 hours 39. Then let's have a look into the preliminary data we've got here. Load sheet number 2, Frankfurt Evanes on the Whiskey Echo, that's our plane. 2 pilots, 4 cabin crew, weights are looking good. 160 guests, 32.5. Let's see, portable water is full, 100%, 9,000 kilos, that looks correct, so let's accept that. Alright, and then we can just turn on those lights over here, and with that done, let's head out for the walk around, shall we? So, starting the walk around straight down here at the static ports, which have no obstructions, AOA vane is okay, and the avionics vent inlet is looking good as well. Landing gear is in a good shape. Just checking for general damages, condition of the lights, all the good stuff you would do here. So, oxygen discharge valve is green, and the probes are all in a good shape. Static port in the front as well. Let's have a little look at our aircraft, and it's looking very good indeed. So, static port is checked, and the ports over here are all checked. External power connector is looking good as well. Right, then we can move after a little bit, and the static ports over here are checked. Leading edge is in a good condition. Now let's have a look at our engine. CFM56, good old reliable engine. And we gotta make sure that it stays that way. In other words, we make sure that the latches of the cowlings are closed. Everything looking good over here, then let's try not to walk into the fuel truck. So, everything good at the front. The green nav light is illuminated, that's looking good. Static discharges are all here, aileron is okay. So, walking along the trailing edge, no sign of damages or bird strikes, and that brings us to the main gear. Now, as you can see down here, the right brake, and probably the left as well, will probably need replacing in a week or so. But for the time being, they are fine. As long as we can see the brake wear indicator pin, that is completely okay. So nothing over here. The pins are also removed, and then we can continue to the back. Looks like they broke our door over here. Oh, lovely. So we can call Heart of Ops straight away. Okay, so up here everything's good. The static discharges are all here, no sign of damages. Same goes for the rudder up here. The nav light is working, and then we can move on through the trailing edges and the leading edges, and everything is good. Wow, who would have thought that? So, yeah, same thing on this side. First checking the landing gear, making sure that everything is alright. Something you also want to do when you are walking around here is not just to check the general condition of the gear, of the brakes and stuff, but you also want to have a little look into the gear bay here, because with the doors closed you just can't see all that much, but you just want to see if there's any leakages or anything over here, which there isn't today. The flaps are also looking good. Also have a good look into some of those edges, because you want to see if there is any traces of feathers or something sticking out. So the red light is illuminated, that's good. Leading edge is looking okay, leads us to the other engine. And the engine is looking good from the back. All the hatches are closed, including the ones at the bottom. Alright, and a little bit of windmilling, but it's looking very good overall. Okay, perfect. So with that, our aircraft is checked and fit for service. So let's get back on board. What are you doing? Just standing around? Nothing? Okay, fair enough. The bus boarding is going to take long enough, isn't it? So here we are. Let's go ahead and get the ATIS. So Frankfurt departure sent. And we'll just see what we're going to get, and then I'm just going to send the clearance request. So ATIS, Frankfurt information Lima, runway 25 center and 18. A little bit gusty, but straight down the runway, so easy going. QNH 1012. Okay, good. So ATC request, pre-departure clearance. We're at Victor 153. Information Lima, station EDDF, and Gouda. So Frankfurt Ebenezer, Ocean 1310, Victor 153, Artist Lima, Gouda 320, Frankfurt, sent. Alright, so while we're waiting for all the services to complete, fueling should be complete in a moment as well now. Here we go, 9,000 kilos are on board. Which means we can already turn on the fast belts. Okay, so company message. Pre-departure clearance. Request received, standby. Roger.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome
So
aboard Discover Airlines Flight
CFM engine
1310,
and nav database
departing
up to
from
date.
Frankfurt and heading to
Cockpit
Harstad,
messages
Narvik.
checked.
We kindly ask you to take your seats according to your boarding passes and stow your hand luggage in the overhead bins or under the seats in front of you. If you need any assistance, please don't hesitate to contact our friendly crew. Thank you for choosing Discover Airlines, and we hope you have a pleasant flight.
Okay, and okay, so that's all set up here. Aft overhead panel is checked. QNH 1012 is good. Everything checked down here. It's the 8th of June 25. So audio control panel VHF 1, VHF 2. Why did this change its frequency again? Should be 122035, no? So GCS auto, gain calibrated, weather turbulence and hazard, tilt 5 up is good. Down here everything's set, and transponder on number 2, as we're operating from the right seat today. So flight plan initialization is here already. Frankfurt to Ebenezer, alternate border, and we are going to be the Ocean 1310. By the way, why is the catering still in place? Waiting for the action, closing doors. Huh. Thought it should do that automatically. But anyway, that means that they can finally start with the boarding. So, Frankfurt, Ocean 1310, request being processed, stand by, and here is the clearance. So, clear to Evanes, Maroon 2 November departure, maintain 7000, departure 18505, squawk 5572, expect 25 center. Wilco, and send. And print. Probably can't do that. Alright, let's continue with our setup though. I'll just open the flight plan over here, makes it a little bit easier. So, cost index 10, cruise level 360, and the temperature up there -45. Tropopause in 30,000, that is actually correct. Ground temperature 16. So, Frankfurt, departure 25 center, Maroon 2 November departure. Why is it not the 3 whiskey? I mean, the November seems to be something going around the south as well, so I'm happy to take it, but standard would be the whiskey. So, for Evanes, we have runway 35 in use, and they do have quite a lot of approaches over there, so let's just quickly have a look into the charts. So, starting on the arrival, and we have the Penno 1 mic arrival. Which is fairly straightforward. Penno to steady. Okay, we can do that. Now, let's see, runway 35. Is that all RMP AR? Everything except for the VOR approach. Okay. So it'll be the VOR approach from steady. So VOR Alpha runway 35, Penno 1 mic arrival, and why is there no steady transition? Well, let's just insert that and try again. VOR 35, that's it. Alright, wonderful. So then let's go ahead and cross-check our departure. So it's the Maroon 2 November indeed. So that is straight at Delta Foxtrot 134 above 800, then Delta Foxtrot 162, maximum 220 knots. Which we've got, then Delta Foxtrot 166, Delta Foxtrot 161, which is an overflight point. And we have those. And then we proceed on the 299 track in Malakupip, and thereafter Tabum, Lixi, Lorpa, Maroon. And that's exactly what we've got. Alright. So, Frankfurt X5 is going to be our emergency point, and that's based on EGDF 25 Sana /246/25. So, PBD point, create, then secondary flight plan, copy active, and we've got the FRA X5 in here with a holding at 246. Right hand turns, 1 minute lag time is okay. And then immediate return to Frankfurt. Arrival 25 left, ILS 25 center is inoperative at the moment. And what did I mistype? Frax 5. Here it is. Alright, cool. So, data, pilot route, and we'll just call this one FRA Eve. And that is definitely an incorrect routing in there. Delete. Yeah, still buggy it seems. So let's see the preliminary load sheet. So that's 58.8. And the CG is 32.5. 9,000 kilos fuel. Why did it not insert the CG? That's better. Okay, so 21 knots tailwind on average. Then let's get the fuel data. 1.1, 1.1. Five minutes extra, that's okay. And then for the performance figures, flaps 1, 63 degrees. And speeds 38, 48, 53. Here we go. Thrust reduction acceleration 1000, engine out acceleration 1500, and nothing to pre-select. EDD F25 center, optimal 350, cruising 360, maximum 381. That's looking very good, so I'm pretty happy with this. Now let's see, they told us 7000. The EFIS is set, and then we can just cross-check. Frankfurt 25 Center, Mahunto November 7000 is checked, and Squawk 5572. Like this. Alright, perfect. So that's our basic setup done. Then let's see, what about the boarding? Do we have anyone out there? Yes, they're coming. Good. Alright. So that good stuff is done. Then let's see if our flight attendant is here. Mara, are you here?
Yes, Captain, I'm here and ready for the flight.
Thank you. How's the boarding going?
Ladies and
We
gentlemen,
are supposed to be off
welcome
block.
aboard Discover Airlines Flight 1310, departing from Frankfurt and heading to Harstad, Narvik. We kindly ask you to take your seats according to your boarding passes and stow your hand luggage
Looks like
in
they're
the
done with the
overhead bins
loading.
or under the seats in front of you. If
Yeah,
you need any
removing
assistance,
the-
please don't hesitate to contact our friendly crew.
Removing
Thank
the
you for
loaders
choosing
already.
Discover
Very good.
Airlines, and we hope you have a pleasant flight. Boarding is going smoothly, Captain. We have about 20 passengers left to board and will be off block shortly.
Thank you very
Ladies
much.
and gentlemen, we are currently in the process of boarding. Please have your boarding passes ready and take your seats as soon as you can. Thank you for your patience.
So, she is doing some work to
You're
expedite
very
it.
welcome, Captain. Everything is going smoothly with boarding. We'll be ready to go shortly.
Yeah, perfect. Alright, then let's take a moment and start with the departure briefing. So, we're departing Frankfurt, runway 25 center, Lima 3, well, we've calculated Lima 6 intersection, Maroon 2 November departure, and the initial climb is going to be 7,000, MSA 4,300, and extra fuel and time, we've got 5 minutes in the form of 200 kilos. Alright, thanks for that. Hotspots for the taxi routing is that road straight in front of us, so good look outside that we don't ride into anything that's got wheels below it. Stop margin for the rejected takeoff, a couple hundred meters, engine outside straight ahead, Frax 5, climbing 5,000, MSA 4.3. If you get radar vectors to the south, I'm happy in 4,000 feet as well. So apart from that, runway 25 left is programmed for an immediate return. We are above the max landing weight, but if we need to come back, we need to come back. So overweight landing procedure, If there is no fire, that's basically APU on, APU bleed on, and don't make a hard touchdown. If there is any fire or anything, we can make an immediate return. Traffic pattern to the south, weather is currently looking okay. Yeah, and then we'll have to see. Perhaps runway 25 center, perhaps runway 25 left. The ILS on the left is operating, on the center is broken, but center is the standard emergency runway here, so we'll have to see what we are going to do there, what ATC favors us to do. I have no special operations, non-standards. Well, that entire sit is basically non-standard, so I'm kind of hoping that we are going to get a good shortcut once we're at a good altitude so that we can turn somewhere over here, perhaps making up a little bit of time, but that's really it. Do you see any threats for today's departure? Well, terrain could be one, as we are heading towards the Taunus after all, so we'll be using the terrain displays over here, but we'll definitely also have the weather radar up with these weather conditions. Alright, and apart from that, I'll do a little bit of manual flight if the situation permits. Any questions? No? Wonderful, so then let's do the cockpit preparation checklist. Gear pins and covers removed, fuel quantity 9,000 kilos balanced, seatbelts on, ADRs, nav and baroref QNH 1012. Cockpit preparation checklist complete. Alright, so now it's just waiting for the boarding to complete. Let's see, how far are they actually? 160, that's full, that's full. So basically it should be complete, no? So what's going on over here? Nothing by the looks of it. Well, in any case, we'll close up and you can do the same once you're ready. Here we go, aircraft loaded. That's what I call timing. So load sheet should be here, I hope. And starting APU. Yes, load sheet in compliance with edition number 2. We've got 58.8 that checks, CG 32.5 that checks as well, takeoff weight 67.6 is okay, 160 passengers plus 2 infants, and 30.1, that's a down trim of about 0.4. Okay, accepting the load sheet. Then let's take a short moment to cross-check our takeoff calculation. Synchronize final. Same. Okay, wonderful. So, APU should be available in a minute. Park and brake is set. And APU avail, here we go. So bleed coming on, external power as well. Then let's tell the ground crew to prepare and then we can go. Boden vom Cockpit. So, wir sind hier oben fertig. Wie sieht's denn bei Ihnen aus? Okay, dann rufen wir nach der Freigabe. Liebe Fluggäste, einen schönen guten Morgen aus dem Cockpit. Hier spricht Ihr Kapitän. Mein Name ist Emanuel, im Namen der Discover Airlines darf ich Sie herzlich an Bord unseres A320 auf diesem Flug 1310 über Evenes nach Kittilä begrüßen. Flugzeit auf dem ersten Sektor wird etwa 2 Stunden 35 betragen. Erwarten einen weitestgehend ruhigen Flug. Lehnen Sie sich zurück, genießen den Flug mit uns und wenn wir etwas für Sie tun können, um diesen angenehmer zu gestalten, zögern Sie nicht, sich an unsere charmante Kabinenbesatzung zu wenden. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Ladies and gentlemen, a good morning from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emanuel. In the name of Discover Airlines, welcome aboard our Airbus A320 on flight 1310 to Kittilä via Evenes. Today's flight time on the first sector will be about 2 hours and 40 minutes. We expect a smooth flight at an altitude of approximately 11,000 meters. For the time being, sit back, relax, enjoy the flight with us, and if there is anything we can do for you to make it more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew. Alright, so they are done over there. So let's call for clearance. Frankfurt delivery, Ocean 1310, request startup.
Ocean 1310, startup approved. Cleared to Ignis via the Maru 2 November departure, runway 150, Tolji DCT, Raxlu DCT, Tekva DCT, Penno as filed, Penno 1 Mike arrival, climb altitude 5000, expect flight level 360 10 minutes after departure, squawk 5572.
Ocean 1310, clear to Ebenes via the Maroon 2 November departure, Yankee 150, Tolgi, Vaxlu, Tekva, Penno 1 Mike. Climb altitude 5000, squawk 5572, startup approved.
Ocean 1310, read back correct. Contact ground on 121.805.
121.805, Ocean 1310. Okay. So, before start checklist please. Park and brake, set, takeoff speeds and thrust. V1 138, VR 148, V2 153, flex 63. Windows. Closed, beacon on before start checklist.
Ladies and gentlemen,
complete.
a warm welcome aboard Discover Airlines Flight 1310,
Boden vom Cockpit.
departing from
So,
Frankfurt
wir haben
and heading to
Anlassfreigabe, dann
Harstad
starten wir in der Sequenz 1, dann 2.
plus Narvik. My name is Mara, and on behalf of the entire crew,
Engine 1
I would like to
starts.
introduce our captain, Emmanuel, and our first officer, Amanda. Joining us today are my fellow crew members, Lucas, Sophie, Jonas, and Mia. We are delighted to have you with us. The estimated flight time is approximately 2 hours and 39 minutes. Now, I would like to take a moment to go over some important safety information. First, please ensure your seatbelt is fastened low and tight across your lap. To unfasten, simply lift the buckle. In the unlikely event of a loss of cabin pressure,
So,
oxygen
startup
masks
at
will drop down from
53,
the
that
panel
means
above you.
13 minutes late.
Pull
We'll be
the
able to
mask
make that
towards
up
you to
again.
start the flow of oxygen, place it over your nose and mouth, and secure it with the elastic band. Remember to put your mask on before assisting others. We also have life vests located under your seats. In the event of an
guten Start auf der 1,
evacuation,
wir starten die 2.
remove the vest from its pouch, place it over your
Engine 2
head,
start.
and pull the straps around your waist. Inflate the vest by pulling the red tabs or by blowing into the tubes.
So,
In the event of
N2
an
is
evacuation,
increasing.
Please leave your luggage on board.
And we'll
Your
see oil
safety is our
pressure
priority.
soon.
There are emergency exits located at the front, middle, and rear of the aircraft. Please take a moment to locate the exit
Here we
nearest to
go,
you,
oil pressure,
keeping in mind
and
that it
1
may
is
be behind
rotating,
you.
and we have fuel flow.
Thank you for your attention, and we hope you
Ignition.
have a pleasant flight with us today.
Very
Emmanuel,
nice.
the cabin is ready for departure.
Thank you. So, wir haben 2 gute Triebwerksstarts, dann können Sie den Flieger zum Rollen vorbereiten. Freizeichen auf der rechten Seite und wir wünschen noch einen schönen Tag. Tschüss. Alright, here we go. Avail. So it's not all that warm. I'm going to turn pack 2 off just to save a little bit of fuel here. Okay, so clear signal is received after start checklist. Anti-ice, off, ecam status. It's checked, pitch trim, 30% set, rudder trim, neutral, after start checklist complete. Frankfurt ground, Ocean 1310, request taxi.
Ocean 1310, taxi to runway 25 center via November, November Blue, November 1, Lima 1.
No. Ocean 1310, we are facing taxiway Lima. He should have known that. Lima is up here, November is behind us. Ocean 1310, request to taxi straight out via Lima, Lima 1. Come on.
Ocean 1310, taxi to runway 25 center via Lima and Lima 1 approved.
Taxi runway 25 center, Lima, Lima 1, Ocean 1310. So, clear right side, clear left side.
Ocean 1310, correction, taxi to runway 25 center via Lima, Lima 1. Hold short of runway 25 center.
Taxi runway 25 center via Lima, Lima 1, hold short runway 25 center, Ocean 1310. Perfect, that's what I wanted to hear. So, brake check. Pressure 0. Flight control check. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. And the rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral. And I have no changes to the briefing. So just waiting for the cabin. I guess we can already start with the taxi checklist, huh? Flight controls checked, flap setting, config 1+F, radar and predictive wind shear on an auto, engine start selector, norm, holding a decam memo. We'll just taxi slowly, waiting for the cabin to get ready. And when they are, we are able for any intersection. So we're already over here at November 3. Lima 6 is opposite, that's what we've calculated. So we'll just wait for the cabin, and as soon as they are ready, we'll just take the first available intersection since there is no traffic here. They seem to be ready. Let's actually give them a call and ask. Hi Mara, are you ready for departure?
Yes, Captain, we're all set for departure.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now preparing for departure. Please ensure your seatbelt.
Ocean 1310, request intersection Lima 4.
You're very welcome, Captain. Everything is going smoothly as we prepare for departure.
Ocean 1310, intersection departure from Lima 4 approved. Taxi to runway 25 center via Lima, Lima 4.
Taxi to runway 25 center via Lima, Lima 4, Ocean 1310. Decam memo, takeoff, no blue, taxi checklist complete.
Approaching 25 center.
Intentionally. Ocean 1310, ready for departure.
Ocean 1310, you are on ground frequency. Contact tower on 136.5 for departure clearance.
136.5, Ocean 1310. Yes, because you're supposed to hand me off, my friend. Frankfurt Tower, Ocean 1310, ready for departure. So, looks like there is a little bit of weather in the departure sector.
Ocean 1310, Frankfurt Tower, runway 25C, winds 250 at 18, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 25 center, cleared for takeoff, Ocean 1310. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. Lineup checklist. Takeoff runway. That's 25 center, Lima 4, TCAS. TARA, PAX 1 and 2, off, lineup checklist complete. Okay, I'm ready for rolling. We did take the intersection from there, so let's smooth this out a little bit. Ready for rolling? Take off.
On runway 25, center.
Manflex 63, SRS, runway, auto thrust blue. Thrust set. Knots. V1. Rotate. Positive climb. You're up. Nav checked.
Ocean 1310, contact departure on 118.505.
118.505, Ocean 1310. Thrust climb, auto thrust. Autopilot 2. Long radar, Ocean 1310, passing 2200, climbing 5000.
Ocean 1310, Stuttgart Tower, roger. Continue climb altitude 5000 feet.
Continue climb 5000 feet, Ocean 1310. Speed check, flap 0. Approaching. Did he just call himself Stuttgart Tower? I mean, it is the same frequency. That's why it's strange that Sane Tensions is using this one anyway. But I haven't heard him do that yet. Speed, vertical speed. So we don't need that chrono anymore. Hot star. So it looks like this departure is taking us all the way around Mainz. And then around Mainz and Wiesbaden. Yeah, that's what you do for noise abatement, isn't it? Alt. Yeah, that's Mainz over here, then Wiesbaden is over here. So indeed, we're going in between the two. Ocean 1310, request further climb.
Ocean 1310, identified.
Yeah, thank you for that. Ocean 1310, request further climb.
Ocean 1310, climb flight level 360.
Ocean 1310, climb flight level 360. Now, I guess I probably pissed him off. First climb alt 6000 blue. Set standard. Send a cross check passing flight level 52. Now. Checked. So if we're messing with him anyway, shall we ask for direct to Maroon? Ocean 1310, request to proceed direct to Maroon.
Ocean 1310, proceed direct to Maroon.
Proceed direct to Maroon, Ocean 1310. Okay, so direct Maroon. It's nice when things work, isn't it? So we're nice and high. They're not going to hear us down there in mines. Well, so we made it out of Frankfurt. Little bit of trouble. But hey, we're on the way. That's all you can ask for. So temperature 6, engine anti-ice on. Engine anti-ice is on. So we are well clear of the MSA, then we don't need the train display either anymore. And passing 10,000. Lights off, we'll keep the signs on for the time being. And then clear and copy.
Dear guests, we have now reached a safe altitude, and you are welcome to use your electronic devices. Please ensure that they are in airplane mode. Also, our onboard Wi-Fi service is available for
So
you to
Avanos
enjoy during the
35
flight.
is on here.
Thank you for your attention.
Cruising
and we hope you
36,
have a
optimum
pleasant journey
36,
with us.
maximum 383. And let's see, arrival 10:45. Versus 10:50. Wonderful. So that's looking very good. Then I tend to say there is not much more to do for us. So sit back, relax, enjoy the trip, and I'll update you when we get closer to our destination airport. Well, my friends, and we are closing in on the top of descent. We've just gotten our star clearance via CPDLC already. Expect the Pano 1 mic arrival, so that corresponds to runway 35, and we will do the on-off approach over there. Okay, so let's go ahead and start setting up for that approach. So, Evanes, Pano 1 mic, is Pano above 8,000 to steady above 7,000. And we have panel above 8 and then steady above 7. Speed restriction 220, I guess that's probably from the approach. And we can actually remove all of those over here. All we need is the VOR approach. So VOR 35, steady, and well, I can't see where that 220 restriction comes from. It's probably airline inserted then, but fine with that. So from steady we are going to proceed inbound on the radial 194 to Evanes VOR, which is located about 1.3 miles prior to the runway threshold at quite an angle. So this is going to be a very interesting approach to fly. Well, let's go ahead and cross-check that. From steady we proceed to the Charlie Delta runway 35, which is actually not located anywhere on this chart. So the next one we have is the Fox Delta and then the 5.5 DME point. So in here we've got the Fox Delta over 5,000. Then we have the 5.5 DME in 3,000 as well, which is looking good. 4-degree glide slope, so we better be fully configured by that point. And then 3.5 DME at 2,160, which is also looking good. And then we have the missed approach point, which is located 1 DME inbound to the VOR Mike Delta 35. So go around then, straight ahead to the VOR, then turn left to intercept follow radio 351 to Foxtrot Sierra locator. Climb on track 251 from Foxtrot Sierra at 3,800, turn left and join the holding, climb on 5,000, and that's it already. So this is what it looks like, should be fairly easy to fly. Now for our radio nav page, we definitely need Echo Victor Delta, FNS VOR. And that's going to be 014 on the course. So runway 35 it is. Now let's go for the performance. So 0.78261, that's fine with me. QNH 1000. Let's actually show you guys the weather, because we haven't done that yet. So here's what the weather looks like. 36089, slightly variable, 10 kilometers in light rain, broken 2800, 8 degrees, QNH 1000. 1000 is in 8 degrees, 360 at 9. So transition level, let's verify that. Altitude 7000, QNH 1000, no, then the transition level is more like 80. Here we go. Okay, minimum is 1100. Like this, and then for the missed approach we have an MSA. Well, basically 5,000 is the current altitude, so we'll use that as anti-nav acceleration here as well. 14 minutes extra, 500 kilos, and secondary is a copy of the active. Now just one thing to do down here. Let's see, 5.5 miles, 220 knots. No, I strongly doubt that. Let's actually say Fox Delta and 150 knots. That way we're going to fly the entire final approach fully configured. So as 167, that's fine with me, but due to the 4-degree glide slope, which is just really steep, we gotta be a little bit careful. So the runway itself, 2,812 meters long. We are going to vacate most likely at the end, so we can just let it roll. That means we can leave the auto brake off. That's also going to be a little bit nicer for our brakes. Alright, wonderful. So that's the preparation completed. Let's go ahead and run some landing calculations. So Evanes 35, braking action good. Apply the weather, and then let's see, landing weight. Well, 62 is going to be fine. 62 tons, low auto brake, idle reverse, manual thrust, flaps full. Tell you what, yeah, let's keep flaps full because of the 4-degree glide. The runway would be more than long enough, but we'll do it this way. Okay, cool. so that's our approach preparation completed. Then let me say goodbye to our passengers, and thereafter we can do the approach briefing. Liebe Fluggäste aus dem Cockpit, hier Co-Pilot mit einem kleinen Update. Wir werden in den nächsten 5 bis 10 Minuten unsere Reiseflughöhe verlassen, den Anflug nach FMS starten. Wir erwarten eine pünktliche Ankunft. Das Wetter derzeit 8 Grad bei einer geschlossenen Wolkendecke und einigen vereinzelten Regenschauern. Wir bedanken uns, dass Sie heute Discover Airlines gewählt haben, wünschen Ihnen einen schönen Aufenthalt, gegebenenfalls eine gute und sichere Weiterreise. Wenn Sie mit uns weiter nach Kittilä fliegen, bleiben Sie einfach an Bord sitzen und wir melden uns dann am Boden. Wir wünschen Ihnen einen schönen Aufenthalt und hoffen, Sie bald wieder an Bord eines unserer Flugzeuge begrüßen zu dürfen. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, your first officer with a quick update. Within the next 5 to 10 minutes, we're going to leave our cruising altitude and start our descent towards FMS. We are going to arrive on time. The weather at the moment, cloudy, some light rain showers in the area, and a temperature of 8 degrees. Thank you very much for choosing Discover Airlines for today's flight. We wish you a nice and safe onwards journey. If you are traveling almost to Kittilä with us, please stay on board the aircraft and we will update you with more information when we are on the ground. Thank you very much for your attention and we hope to see you all again soon. So, I'm back with you. Contact speed and control 132155. Speed and control, Ocean 1310, level 360.
Ocean 1310, Sweden control identified. Good afternoon.
Okay, that was easy. So let's head back to the captain's seat for our briefing. We have an MSA of up to 5,900 feet. Pillar 1 Mike arrival, VOR approach runway 35, which has quite an incredible offset. We'll talk about that in a few moments. Now, extra fuel and time is 14 minutes, and the go-around is pretty much straight ahead to Echo Victor Delta, then Foxtrot Sierra until 3,800, left turn back to the VOR, climb into 5,000. Alright, thank you for that. Now, we are going to fly this approach with flight director guidance on the final descent path. Then, approaching the missed approach point, we'll turn flight directors off, bird on, set runway track. And that's how we're going to fly the final approach. Now, we will use config full, idle reverse. We'll let the aircraft roll to the end and then vacate to the right hand side. In terms of specials, we have a 4-degree glide slope. For this I want to fly an early stabilized approach. That means basically at the final approach point I want to have, let's see, so at the final approach fix, that's the Fox Delta 35, I want the aircraft configured in landing configuration. Then it's going to be 4 degrees down. The minimum is pretty high, 1,100 feet. We do require 2,400 meters visibility for this, and that's mostly it. Well, nothing non-standard here, and apart from that I have nothing. Threats for the arrival, 2 of them. The first one is a terrain in the area. We can see mountains up to 5,656 feet over here, which are the reason for the offset approach as well. Now, what else do we have? Honestly, nothing. Terrain, steep approach, we are familiar with that stuff. And finally, up here is where the 220 restriction over steady comes from. Base turn and initial approach restricted to maximum 220. So, with steady being the initial approach fix, that's where the 220 comes from. Okay, cool. So that's our briefing completed.
Ocean 1310, contact Venus approach on 125.39er.
125.39er, Ocean 1310. So, over to approach 135.139er. And CPDLC is terminated. Lockoff is checked. Thank you very much
Ocean
for that.
1310, descend altitude 4600, turn right, heading 045 vectors for the RNAV runway 35 approach.
Lebanese approach, Ocean 1310, descending 4600, request VOR approach, runway 35.
Captain, cabin is ready. Ladies and gentlemen,
speed
we are now
vertical
on our
speed.
final approach into Hallstatt. Please turn off all electronic devices and stow them until we have arrived at the gate. Kindly return your tray tables to their upright position and ensure your seats are also in the full upright position with your seatbelts fastened. Once we land, Discover Airlines staff will provide you with information regarding your connecting flights. Thank you for your cooperation.
Lebanese approach, Ocean 1310, passing 9,300, descending 4,600. Thrust idle, descent.
Ocean 1310, Evenes approach identified. Hello, expect the RNAV Echo runway 35 approach into Evenes.
Ocean 1310, request VOR approach, runway 35.
Ocean 1310, cleared for the VOR approach runway 35 at Evenes.
Cleared VOR approach, runway 35, Ocean 1310. Okay then, 5,000 is in the window. And looks like we're gonna reach that just about at the Charlie Delta. It's fine with me. So then, passing 10,000, lights on, signs on, constraints. We don't need LS, but we do have GPS primary with a high accuracy, and the node selector is in norm. Very good. So speed is coming back towards 220. That is looking good so far. Then let's do the approach checklist, please. Barrel reference, QNH 1000. Seatbelts on, minimum, barrel 1100, auto brake is off, engine start selector, norm, approach checklist complete. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We'll maintain the rate of descent until we're level in 5,000, and then we're going to start reducing the speed rather aggressively. But I think that's our best way to go forward, rather than to keep the aircraft high. So VDAF is showing inbound to the Charlie Delta. So approach nav, final blue. 1,000 to go, flaps 1. Speed checked, flaps 1. We'll wait until we have alt star. Speed final approach and flaps 2. Speed checked, flaps 2. So 2.5 miles to go. That looks fine with me. Speed brakes going in. Gear down. Flaps 3. Speed checked, flaps 3. Flaps full. Speed checked. Flaps full. So that is looking good so far. So final descent point at 10.2 DME. And we are fully configured as we want it to be. Perfect. So here's 10.2, 5,000, that's correct. And down we go. So go around altitude 5,000 is set. Let's see, tower will be on 1180, I guess. And here's the reason why I went for a flaps full approach. You can see it barely is able to maintain its speed. Ocean 1310 established on final approach.
Ocean 1310, continue approach, runway 35, cleared to land.
Runway 35, clear to land, Ocean 1310. Okay. So, landing clearance is received. Now, do we have any? Yes, we do have a distance to altitude table. Next is going to be 7 DME at 3,650. And that's 7 DME, 30 feet low, which matches the VDAF scale. So the scale is working. Perfect. So, 5.5 miles, we're looking for 3,000 feet. Waiting to get visual. So, there's our landing runway in sight. Okay, so autopilot off, flight directors off, bird on, set runway track.
2,500.
Checked. That's going to be 351. And that's set. Wonderful. So, wipers off, anti-ice off. So, very steep approach. Let's not get too high here. Landing checklist. ECA memo. Landing no blue. Landing checklist complete. So, where's our runway? There it is. And we are exactly on the puppy. Perfect. So let's start a gradual turn to the final. So wind is turning to the left. Getting a little higher profile, correcting. Here we go. So, we are back on the Poppy.
100 above.
Checked.
Ocean 1310, contact Venus Tower on 118.0.
118.0, Ocean 1310. Continue. Venus Tower, Ocean 1310, established runway 35.
Approaching 3-5.
Man, that is a beautiful approach, isn't it? Venus Tower, Ocean 1310. Well, approach gave us the landing clearance, that's all I care about.
Ocean 1310, E-Venus Tower, roger, continue approach, runway 35. Ocean 1310, Venus Tower, wind 350 at Niner, runway 35, cleared to land.
Runway 35, clear to land, Ocean 1310.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, retard. 5.
Spoilers, reverse green, decel.
One 1,200 meters remaining. 900 remaining. 600 remaining.
70 knots.
Ocean 1310, welcome to Evenus.
Remaining.
Contact ground on 121.85.
121.85, Ocean 1310. We'll vacate the runway first, we'll call ground second. So, here we are.
30 meters remaining.
121.85. Evenus ground to Ocean 1310. Request taxi to gate 28.
Ocean 1310, taxi to gate 28 via Alpha 1 Yankee Charlie 1. Have a good day.
Taxi to gate Alpha, correction, taxi to gate 28 via Alpha 1 Yankee Charlie 1, Ocean 1310. All right. And here we are. So, start the APU, please. After landing checklist, radar and predictive wind shear, off. After landing checklist, complete. Now look at this. I can totally see why someone might want to fly here. Absolutely beautiful terrain. Absolutely beautiful terrain. And I gotta say, this was a very interesting approach. Really a very interesting one. Now, luckily we didn't have any rain showers on the final approach. That could have complicated things. Same tensions, of course, as with any offset approach, was a little, let's say, unsure if we're actually going to land at this airport or not, therefore the late handover to the tower. But that happens, we got our landing clearance well in time, so nothing to complain about. Apart from that, taxi in is going to be gate number 28 over here, right at the terminal. So that's pretty easy going. Well, let's get GSX. So, terminal, gate 28. Walk in position, we don't need to follow me. So the scenery itself for Evenus is freeware from flightsim.to. I'm going to link it in the video description below so that you guys can have a look. It's really beautiful airport, and hey, it's totally for free, so absolutely worth checking out. And it's very nice to see that airports like these do get connections to some of the larger European hubs. So no worries, that is not the main terminal over here. We gotta make that left-hand turn. And that one is the main terminal. Nice and small airport, exactly how I like it. Well, and then electric hydraulic pump on, engine 2 shut down. So, nobody else here. Then we can turn left over here. Now we've got to look out for gate number 28. I believe it is the second one. Probably the one where the ground staff is waiting. That's one of those things I like about small airports like this one. Normally there is staff available, all the handling is quick. That's just really good, compared to the large airports where you are often facing delays. Okay, lights off. APU is available, perfect. So, the marshal is inside. You could really feel how the plane accelerated when we went that little bit downhill there, when turning into the gate. And stop. Alright, APU bleed on. Park and brake set. And shut down. Cabin crew, all doors in park. So, on block at 50, that is exactly our schedule. Engines running down, beacon off. So, waiting for the slides to disarm. And here we go.
Ladies and
That's
gentlemen,
looking very good.
We have now arrived at Harstad, Narvik Airport, Evenes. On behalf of Captain Emmanuel, First Officer Amanda, and the entire crew,
Alright,
we wish you a
so
wonderful
external
stay
power is
here,
connected.
a
Then
beautiful
let's
vacation,
just shut the APU
and
down
safe
for a little
travels
bit
to your
throughout the
next destination.
turnaround. Save a little
Thank
bit
you
of
for
fuel
flying with
and
Discover
noise
Airlines
emissions.
Flight 1310.
Okay, so
we hope to see
parking
you again
checklist.
soon. Goodbye.
Park and brake our chocks. So we can release the park and brake. Chocks are in position. Engines off. Wing light off. Fuel pumps off. Parking checklist complete. Then let's shut down the transponder here and squawk 2000. Alright, that's already set. Fuel. Let's see, we use 2,760 kilograms. The fuel usage is pretty even. So you can deboard, please. Then let's have a look into the plan. We are supposed to use, well, 6,408. I guess this didn't work because I accelerated the flight, but let's see. We have 2.5 on board. We started with 9. That means we used 6.5. And that's exactly what we were supposed to use. Alright, wonderful. So that is looking good. Then let's see about the IRS. That is looking good as well. And with all of that out of the way, all I can say, guys, is thank you very much for flying along. I do hope you found this one interesting. Be sure to leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video. Let me know how you liked the ATC, let me know how you liked the overall operation and flying to an airport like this. And now stay tuned for our second sector over to Kittilä. Thank you very much for watching. Check out Sane Tensions AI if you did like them. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.